What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Jesus Coin yet again today. Not a whole lot's happened, but we're doing this at the request of Ski-Doc. Ski-Doc, this one's for you, and for all the disciples of the coin out there. The good coin, the potentially the best coin, man. There's not a whole lot of coins that are lower lower than a $100 million market cap that I think have potential to do great things, but maybe I'm just buying into I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, I'm eating the Jesus tortilla, I don't know, but I'm starting to have a little bit of faith myself in this thing. But not too much faith. Again, I said a little bit, right? It is still worth $2 million. It has a lot of proving to do, you guys. I know that the community members, and at least anybody that I've talked to, everybody seems really about it and supportive of it, and that's great. But I've said this time and time again, guys. A good community does not make a good coin. It makes a good community, and I really like the Jesus Coin community. I like you guys a lot, but I've been in plenty of cryptos that had good communities, and they never had popularity. Their communities, within the community, they were popular, but the coin itself never gained popularity. And great people, great ideas, great projects, people who genuinely meant for good things to happen with the project, and it just became nothing because it never gained traction. So will this thing gain traction? Maybe. With a extraordinary burn of 80% of its total supply, locked in a contract that's going to burn on Christmas Day of this year. Apparently that's going to happen. With something that massive, I feel like that could drive the price up. Burns tend to drive prices up in crypto. I've noticed it plenty of times. It's just happened. It's happened with Binance. It's happened with Ethereum. When I say Binance, with BNB and Ethereum ETH, obviously. It's happened with Shiba and probably a bunch of other coins that I'm just not naming off right now. Sorry, I thought I heard something. But I do think it would drive the price up. Now, how high does it drive it up? I don't know. I do think this coin, being that it's worth $2 million, has a 1,000x potential. You could take $100 and turn it into $100,000, maybe even a 2,000x, 4,000x. It really is possible. At $2 million, a 1,000x would be $2 billion market cap. And I say $2 million because that's what the market cap of this thing is now, okay? And then with that burn, with that 80% burn, you take right now, the price of it is $2 million. If you burned 80% of the coins out there, well, then you get rid of 80% of that market cap. So you would actually have a market cap that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you could do a 10,000x on this thing. Literally turn $1 million out of $100. I'm not kidding. It's possible. But that doesn't mean that it's likely. And I'd love to see that. I'd love to see every person that puts their money in this put $100 in now and then be able to turn it into something great. Even if it's not $100,000. Even if you take 100 and you turn it into $1,000, that would be great. Gains are better than losses. But furthermore, the reason why you don't need to bet a lot of money in this thing, if there's potential to turn $100,000 or $1 million from $100, why bet the farm? Why bet a lot of money? Something like this doesn't have a lot of volume traded in it day to day, so it doesn't take much to move it. And while yes, you could put a lot of money in it to move it up, somebody, whoever's holding a lot of this coin, could sell it and dump it down too. So just be aware of that, you guys. Just be aware of that. But with all that in mind, all that kind of formidable forewarnings and potential price action that we could see in the future, let's do some TA on this thing. Let's look at this. So again, it could do great things, but it could also just be nothing. That could happen. I know it's close to $0 right now. It can lose another 90% from here. It doesn't have to do anything. Just because it has a name doesn't mean it has to do great things. Though I am a little bit hopeful. And Ski Doc, that was, I think, the actual word you wanted to use, right, is hope. I think there is hope for this thing, man. I really do. Maybe it doesn't do a 1,000x, but at least up to this 1272 or this 1618 here, which from the current price, at least on Poloniex, would be a gain, and that's actually a little bit lower than the current price. Let's see. Current price is right there. That'd still be a gain of a 23 to a 56x at a minimum. That's great. That's amazing. I would love to make a 23x. I'd love to make a 56x, let alone the fact that it's completely reasonable and realistic that we could achieve prices far beyond that. You literally could. 1,000x would be all the way up here in price, and that would be at about, you got 4 zeros, 1 5. Okay, and right now we're at 7 zeros, 1 5. So a 1,000x would be, yeah, I think that makes sense. Anywho, that would put us up at the 2618 deep extensions. There's potential to even go further than that I did say a 10,000x is possible, and that would put us all the way up near this 3618. But that would be, again, assuming that this burn actually takes place. There's no backdoor issues with this thing. It can't be hacked or rug pulled. Everything runs smoothly and it gains traction. Some of the bigger exchanges want to buy it, stuff like that. Could really send this price up phenomenally. And the people that would benefit the most from that are the people who get in before it ever does that, which is right here. And that's why, again, putting a little bit of money could go a long ways on this thing. And I personally plan on throwing a little bit of money in it, but I'm not going to bet a significant amount. I mean, the amount I'm talking about, man, it's not even 0.5% of my whole portfolio, Probably not even 0.1% of my whole, let me think here. Yeah, okay, probably around 1/10. Probably right around 0.1%. That's what I'm planning on putting in here. So I'm not betting the house, because again, if you take 1/10 of your percent and you 1,000x it, right? You 10x 1/10, that makes it 1%. You 100x it, that makes it 10%. You 1,000x it, that makes it 100%. So I could take 1/10 and double my portfolio with that kind of money. And then if this thing does look like it's gaining ground, if there's big things that happen, we have a huge pump, and then we hear that Binance is gonna list it and it drops, maybe I would buy on that drop and then have some more money in for higher prices, stuff like that. But at the moment, I'm talking hypotheticals. I said I was going to talk about the TA. Let's talk about the TA. Let's get into this. So let's see. We're not doing much, man. We're not doing much at all. We're moving sideways. These wicks are whatever. Who cares? Because it's on Poloniex, very low volume exchange. If I put $10,000 in this thing today, we'd get a movement that probably took us above those wicks. So that's not, it doesn't take a lot of money. Granted, $10,000, anybody would be upset to lose that, but it wouldn't take a lot of money in the grand scheme of markets for this thing to move up or to move down a lot. So we're just moving sideways, near or at all-time lows, holding this area. I think that we have found our lows, and as I've said that, I think I've said that over here. I've said that over here. I said it here too, where we did actually get a technical lower low. I think we're near them, if not at them, and the reason for this is if we take this here from this low to this high on a fib basis, we're at the 1272, and we're holding it quite well, I might add. So if we were to go lower, we could possibly go down to the 618. And yes, even though we're at such a small market cap of 2 million, and we've dropped from all-time highs to this current low 93%, we could go lower. We could absolutely go lower. We could go down 95.9%. That's totally possible. We might not, though. This might be the bottom. And regardless, when this thing does decide to start doing good things, in the course of literally from here, 2 days later, you had a price movement that was 616% to the upside in 2 days. So you can do phenomenal things in a very short amount of time. Right here, right on this little scam wick, you had 177% within a day. That probably happened within an hour, really, right? So look at that, right? And not that that's, again, I tell people disregard these. They're probably, and I think a scam wick is the proper term for stuff like this, but still, it doesn't take a lot of money to move this thing. So if interest gains, if a exchange wants to list it, if there's somebody with some bigger money that wants to accumulate some, this would be the area to do that. And with that, anybody who's in it right now could see some pretty fantastic gains in a pretty short amount of time. I want to add here that if we, let's compare it to Bitcoin real quick, BTC. New price scale, sure, I like that, yeah. And logarithmicize it. You can see here, right, when Bitcoin had its dump from, and then here's Bitcoin's price over here. Here's Jesus Coin's price, Bitcoin's price. When I add it to a new price pane, it's over here. So Bitcoin was all the way at a price of, really, right here at this top, 29,800, right? It says that over here, 29,800 on a closing basis. Jesus Coin was at a low. Bitcoin started to drop. Jesus Coin has just been moving sideways this whole time that Bitcoin's taken a shit. So this is kind of nice to see, even for a coin with such a low market cap like this, and easily movable price action. It didn't give way while most cryptos went down. It just kind of held its ground, so that at all-time highs. And yes, I'm saying this is all-time highs. No, all-time highs. I'm sorry, at all-time lows. I don't think this is all-time lows because this is first day mania. It doesn't count. You had your first bid down here, but it didn't get bought until up here. I don't know. I don't count that. You can even see right here, right? I'm not the only one that doesn't count it. Look at all these percentages and stuff, and like closing highs and lows. If you go over here, it just has on the percentage, it has a circle with a dash through it, like a cancellation sign. So who really knows what the all-time low is? I feel like this would be a first all-time low to all-time high there, and you can see that we have respect on the 618 all the way down even to the 0.69 here, to the 1272, to the 886. We've got respect throughout this, so I feel comfortable calling that the first all-time low, and I'd feel comfortable calling this the current all-time low. So we are hanging out near all-time lows on an asset that is a very, very, very small market cap. You could put a little bit of cheddar in here, just a little bit, and you could get the whole cheese wheel, man. You could really get a whole block out of this thing. And maybe not, but that's why you take small risks on things that have huge potential, because the more potential they have, the more the risk is. And I would definitely not feel comfortable saying anything other than saying that this is a risky coin. It definitely is. But with that, it just takes a little something, man. It just takes a little time, a little belief, a little hope, spreading. Oh my goodness, down the wrong pipe. Spreading the name and the word of the good coin itself, you know, and good things can happen. It definitely can. But really, what I think would be some big shit for this thing to happen would be, besides the burn, would be exchanges listing them, like pretty big centralized exchanges. KuCoin isn't even that big of an exchange, but if KuCoin were to list this thing, that would be big shit for sure. I feel like KuCoin, whenever it lists something, that puts it on Binance and Kraken's radar. And if Binance or Kraken list it, you might see Coinbase and Gemini list it, you know what I mean? And with a name like Jesus Coin, it could even make it on Robinhood if it was to gain traction. It might not do any of that stuff. And I keep saying that after any of this bullish stuff, because if it doesn't do any of that stuff, I don't want anybody to get creamed thinking that they're going to make $1 million off of $100 when really maybe you make $200. You know, be prepared to take profits at lower highs. Be prepared for that, because it could happen. But at the moment, to be completely fair, if I'm being realistic with my personal opinion on this thing, I do think that it sets new all-time highs with this coming bull market. I do think that holding a sideways accumulation area while most crypto took a shit is a good thing. And I do think with the $2 million market cap, it has potential for some upside for sure. So where could it move once it breaks its all-time high, once it shows positive interaction with the 618 to 69 area, which is about, let's see, how many percents higher than the current price? You know, it's about 300 to 400% higher than now. If we get positive interactions with this area, we could genuinely see, again, that 20 to 60x or something like that, right? What was that? That was a 22, 23 to a 57x, 58x, something like that. 60x. Okay, no, it was a 60x, yeah. 23 to 60x, something like that. We could see that for sure, you know, and if not, potentially even higher than that. With a name like Jesus Coin, man, I think this has meme coin moonshot possibilities at hand for sure. I think that it's a safe area to buy. Maybe, you know, it might be safe. It could drop another 90% from here. It really could, you guys. So don't put the farm in this thing. Don't bet the farm on this at all. But you know, if you want to take a nibble, I think, you know, this could be one of the more fun investments that could really turn a huge profit. You know, but they say that anybody can make profits, but only the pros take profits. So when it comes time, my friends, take profits. Don't just make profits, take profits, okay? Take them off the table, go home with your money, go on vacation, spend it on things that actually matter. Don't just let the numbers be numbers on a screen, right? Put that in your pocket. And if I can make another recommendation before I sign off here, if you hold it on Poloniex, if you hold it on a DEX, whenever and if and when it gets listed on a bigger exchange, let's start with KuCoin, because that's a smaller exchange, it's a big exchange, right? It's one of the bigger of the smaller. If it gets listed on KuCoin, move your Jesus Coin off of these smaller exchanges, off the DEXs, get it on an exchange where there's more liquidity, so that when it does go to its all-time highs, you can actually sell it at, you know, and get out of it, right? You're not going to be trapped with a low liquidity exchange that can't provide, you know, it might go to the price that you have it selling at. It might go there, but nobody's going to buy it because nobody's using that exchange. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say. You know, looking at this, just for an example, on this day here, you had, on the volume, you had 67.77 billion tokens that were exchanged. And I did the math. It came out to be like something like $2,000. Let's say you had $10,000 in this thing. If you had a sell order up here, you probably wouldn't have even sold $1,000 worth. You might not even have sold a couple $100 worth, right? Yes, there was some that was transacted up here, but if you had $10,000 and you were trying to sell it at this high, you wouldn't be able to. Odds are, if you had $10,000 and you were trying to sell it, you'd probably more likely sell it down around the prices that it's at now, if not lower, because it is such a small volume thing that big money like $10,000, which is big money for this, can move it dramatically. I mean, look at what you got on a $2,000 move right here. You moved up 177%. So anyways, I'm beating a dead horse with this thing. I think I said enough. At the moment, if I had to be honest with myself, I'd say this is probably a fair area to accumulate. You move down and now you're moving sideways while most crypto's taking a shit. You've just held these areas. Maybe you do go a little bit lower, whatever. It's just a better opportunity to accumulate. I do think all in all it does achieve new all-time highs from here, which again is anywhere from about a 23 to a 60x, and if not more likely, possibly higher. So with that, I leave you. If you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.